Hello traders and welcome. Now this video is a follow-up to the video that I did on the 25th of October. Now the heading of that video on the 25th of October was the crash and the euro. And at that point I wasn't suggesting for 1 minute that I thought this market could really roll over. What I was suggesting was that the market was expensive and we could start to see some distribution. And the Nikkei and the Nasdaq was my sort of bellwethers for those. So let's just have a look back at what we got at the moment. So after that 25th of October we pushed higher for another week and then started to, and we've seen this weakness after the move into beginning of November. Okay, so I'm looking for some further weakness into this short week because it's Thanksgiving on Thursday. We've got the Fed minutes just before the market shuts up for that break, and so I think the markets could be quite slow, potentially slow into the beginning of this week. See some further dips into the lower volumes and the quiet period, and then ultimately see some pickup on some support, and they're going to move into the back end of the year. That's typically what we would see, and then you'd see some nervousness in the beginning of the year, moves into the report season, and then the summer of 2018 I think is going to be very, very interesting. That will be 18 months into the Trump era, with potential for higher rates in all the main economies and the impact that that could come out of that, as well as some other issues that are colliding into next year. So let's look across to the DAX, because this is the weakest one. This weakness was much more obvious in the DAX. So you can see we're on that key support level from the highs of June, and literally it was I produced that video just as this was topping out on this particular pullback. So any push into 13,250 I think is an opportunity to get short, because if we can dip lower into 12.5 I think that's the point in which we might pick up here into the back end of the year. So I'm looking for a third week of lower closes, but I want to see hopefully a higher number on that one. Moving across to let's look at the FTSE, and here we are with the chart pattern coming off of 75.90. We've broken up through here on this trend line on the 2nd of October, topped out around about the 25th, got a little bit higher in the back end of that particular week, and then we've had these two lower weeks. So again, any push into 74, 55, 60 area, last week's highs, then I think could see some lower numbers. It's the UK budget on a Wednesday, so the market's reaction to that budget and Fed minutes on the same day, followed by the quiet short week we've got, is going to be significant. But so I'm looking for some increased volatility, some selling at the highs, and some lower numbers until we get Thanksgiving out of the way, and we digest the outcome of the Fed minutes and then see where we are. But typically in all of these indices, looking for some highs to sell into, some lower dips, and then a push back into the end of the year. Euro. Now this weekly is it was about 2 weeks of higher closes on this. Significantly, we didn't close above 118. A little bit of a sell-off into the last hour of London on Friday. So if we start to close the week lower on Monday, Tuesday, then this could roll over ultimately. In the meantime, obviously with 2 weeks of higher closes, I would expect a pullback to something like 117 to get bought, and then to come and test 120. And the Fed minutes on Wednesday could be a good time to think about getting long on that one. Okay, so in the trading room this week, and the Traders Round Table that we operate for members, we will be going into a lot more detail about this and of course the pound. Alright, watch out for some events that are coming up. Just getting busy setting up some events to follow up the the crash theme. Next year it's going to be very interesting. I think we're going to see a lot more action on the euro. The indices are in particular are on a collision course for me, and we'll talk about why I think that and where and how to handle it. Alright, so thanks again for joining me. Stay tuned, and any feedback will be extremely welcome. Enjoy your week. Bye for now. Hello and welcome. And so a look ahead for this week. It's a quiet week on the whole. I think the main price action is going to be around Wednesday because we've got Thanksgiving on Thursday. So before we get to Thanksgiving, we've got Fed minutes late Wednesday, and then of course we've got the UK budget midday Wednesday. So you're looking at the weekly on the Euro US. So I'm going to keep this video quite short and then go into a lot more detail in Traders Roundtable. Looking for this to pull back and then potentially get up to 120. That's all obviously dependent on Fed minutes. Pound US is less convincing. Nonetheless, it did do okay last week. And so just looking for Monday's action to give us some sort of steer on where this may or may not go. Pound yen is looking lower. We are struggling here, really struggling, but it's a box play on the daily. So what might happen is we dip lower just underneath 148, something like 147, 147.50. If that holds, then I think we could ride up into the middle part of the week and maybe have a good run into next week. But in the meantime, this is just a box play. What do I mean by box play? Well, just that, it's stuck in a box. And you can see from, where should I take the box? Hang on. I'll take the box from here. You can see we spent some of early October in that, spent a lot of mid-October. When we popped out, we popped back in again, even after the rate decision, and now we're stuck in this range of 148 to 150. So like I said, a dip lower, but 147, just under 147 would be great, and then that might get the buyers to come back in. We had decent inflation last week, decent retail sales, but it's dogged by the overhang of Brexit, so just be careful. So on the, what other charts have we got? So on the gold, decent move up on Friday, so that's a pullback at 12.85. Oil, again, good day on Friday. Not such a good chart. I would prefer the long in gold. And I think I'm just going to leave it there because, yeah, this Euro Yen is an even bigger box play. Here's the long-term trend from June lows of 122.50. So we push right up to 134.50. So there's a decent, big long push up there. So I just think we need to come in lower to get the buyers interested and then potentially get back up there. This is in a better box play. So since we popped up here in the middle of September, we've done nothing but move around in the 300 pip range for 2 months. So that's why I think we need a lower number to get the buyers interested, and then we might come and see 134 and potentially come to the top of that channel at 138, 140. I'm going to leave it there. So join me on Traders Roundtable, and I'll talk about how I'm going to improve the services on for full members, and talk about signals versus scalping. Alright, so thanks for that, and I will talk to you during Monday, but more especially Traders Roundtable. Don't miss it. Enjoy what's left of your weekend, and bye.